bottle of water. My girlfriend got the water for her and I asked what they were here for. My sister seemed all giddy and just ignored me to continue snooping around my home. Before long I heard her yell from down the hall, "Mommy, it's perfect." Yes. She still calls her mommy. My mother finally spoke up and said, "Well, I think it's time to do your brotherly duty." To which I said, "What?" My mother then proceeded to say, "Now that your father has passed, this house should have gone to me since I was his only spouse. But you can still fix this. You make plenty of money and could just buy a new house. Your sister needs this one so much more since she's the one with a baby on the way. But if you're so determined to stay, you could just stay in one room and cover all of the bills until you decide to move out." My girlfriend and I read enough Reddit to know exactly where this is going. And how it'd play out if I let it go on. So I guess you could say we were mentally prepared. I took a deep breath and stated aloud, "That's not effing happening. You don't order me around. Especially not in my own home. Yes, I make plenty of money. But like Dad, I'm gonna save it for when I really need it. Not that you care." My mother started snapping her fingers at me like she used to and loudly stated, "Stop. I am your mother. You will do as I say because I brought you into this world. As far as you're concerned, I am God. That means when I say jump, you say how high? This house is rightfully mine. And your sister will live here. Consider this your formal eviction. But since I'm gracious, I'll give you 2 weeks to pack your bags and transfer the deed to me." In the back of my mind, I'm thinking this can't be real. I just grabbed my cell phone and started dialing. My mother quickly stood up and yelled, "What are you doing?" And I retorted, "I'm doing what I should have done as soon as this started. I'm calling the cops to get you out of my effing house." She started swiping at me and managed to knock my phone out of my hands. Then she proceeded to try and stomp on it. But I was quick enough to snatch it up before she could. "That's it. If you don't leave, I will force you out myself." My mother proceeded to slap me across the face. And I returned the favor twice as hard backhanded. So much so that I ended up knocking her back down onto the couch. She held her hand over her reddening and smeared makeup face in total shock. And then yelled, "How dare you!" I went back to my phone and said that if she didn't leave, I would have the police come and remove her by force. My sister came barreling in between us, holding her arms out and saying that I should just do the right thing for once in my life and be a good big brother. I snapped and said, "Oh really? I'm the bad sibling? I had to do all the chores in the house while you just sat on your butt doing nothing all day. And you used to steal my hard-earned money just to go out shopping after you spent all of your allowance. So I don't owe you anything. Now both of you get out before I decide to call." My sister started to tear up crying like a baby and said, "Mommy, make him stop." My mother began hugging her and kissing her cheeks while giving me a death glare. Then she seemed to think she'd gotten smart and said, "You know, if you do call the police, I can just tell them that you hit me. I could also say to everyone you wanted to do a lot worse to a poor pregnant girl in need. I don't think that it'd be a very good thing for you." I cut her off and said, "Well, if you haven't noticed, my girlfriend has had her phone out recording this whole time. That means we have recorded evidence of you assaulting me first and openly stating you'd lie to the police. I don't think that it'd be so good for your reputation at your job, or your little Airbnb. If looks could kill, my mother would have blown me up like a tactical nuke." But she quickly deflated and started dragging my crying sister out by the arm. My sister was somehow acting like a complete toddler and broke loose of our mother's grip to sit down on my porch step and have a tantrum. I just gave my mother a look and said, "Do you see now? This is the result of the spoiled way you raised her." She glared at me again, and then I was treated to a show of my mother trying to drag my sister off of my porch steps. But she latched onto the porch handrails and kept saying, "You promised me," over and over again. I let out a cackle and told them both from the door to never come back.